Proverbs chapter 5. My son, pay attention to my wisdom. Lend your ear to my understanding, that you may preserve discretion, and your lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of an immoral woman drip honey, and her mouth is smoother than oil. But in the end she is as bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death. Her steps lay hold of hell, lest you ponder her path of life. Her ways are unstable. You do not know them. Therefore hear me now, my children, and do not depart from the words of my mouth. Remove your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others, and your years to the cruel one, lest aliens be filled with your wealth, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner, and you mourn at last, when your flesh and your body are consumed, and you say, how I have hated instruction, and my heart despised correction. I have not obeyed the voice of my teachers, nor inclined my ear to those who instructed me. I was on the verge of total ruin in the midst of the assembly and congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, and running water from your own well. Should your fountains be dispersed abroad, streams of water in the streets? Let them be only your own, and not for strangers with you. Let your fountain be blessed, and rejoice with the wife of your youth. As a loving deer and a graceful doe, let her breast satisfy you at all times, and always be enraptured with her love. For why should you, my son, be enraptured by an immoral woman, and be embraced in the arms of a seductress? For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. His own iniquities entrap the wicked man, and he is caught in the cords of his sin. He shall die for lack of instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. Every time I read this chapter, the phrase that I want to really stress is the beauty of sex. And in our culture, in our Christian culture, I think we're often reluctant to talk about sex. And that should not be. Sex was God's idea. Sex was beautiful. Sex was to be for procreation and also for just the joy between one man and one woman in the blessings of a covenant marriage, together for a lifetime, and that those two can then enjoy what it truly means to become one flesh together. But what we read here is that God has designed that beautiful gift that he's given to us to be enjoyed within the confines of marriage. And that the world doesn't recognize. The world wants to lie to us and tell us that the way to really be fulfilled as men is to have many partners and many women, and to even chalk up how many conquests you have with women. It's a lie. It's a lie from the pit of hell. Read this chapter and write down the consequences of giving yourself, your life, your body to multiple women. And then I would challenge you and just urge you and plead with you to understand the beauty of what God has created for the marriage relationship between one man and one woman for a lifetime. Thank you for sharing some of your valuable time with us. If you would like to have God's Word read to you out of the book of Proverbs every day, subscribe to us here on this channel or follow us on Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us.